So my name's David. Welcome to the channel. If you are returning, I love you. Thank you for coming back. If you're new, hi, welcome for the first time. And if you are actually new, let me just take a second and I'll break down how these videos go. Every week I put up 4 tasty recipes on my Instagram story. I let my audience pick their favorite of the 4, and then at the end of each week I'll attempt to remake said recipe. Usually it's either the most difficult, the most unhealthy, the most deep fried, cheesiest, sugariest, saltiest food. And I'll probably keep doing this for hundreds of episodes until I either have heart, kidney, or liver failure, or you guys just stop watching. But what is going on, guys? So for this week, you chose the double cheeseburger for a crowd. I put this in some older polls. It never really won, but I did want to try it out. So I guess today is the day. It's sort of like a cheeseburger meets a meatloaf, meets a pot pie souffle, I don't know. Either way, it should be interesting, so let's get right into it. So guys, if you have a crowd at home that you want to feed with this double cheeseburger, you're going to need to grab yourself some ground beef and some puff pastry sheets, some fresh spinach and some sesame seeds, garlic and onion, salt and pepper, 1 egg, and some cheddar cheese. Now before I start cooking anything, I want to address the ground beef. In the recipe page, it says that they use 2 pounds of ground beef for this recipe. But in the video, it says that the first patty alone is 2 pounds, and then they make another one. I'm not really sure what to do. My cast iron is pretty big, and I don't think a pound of beef will be big enough to cover the whole bottom. So I used 4 pounds of ground beef in total, which is a lot. But we'll get to that in a second. First off, I wanted to start by chopping everything up. I grabbed a medium-sized yellow onion and just tried to cut some shoestrings in that. I grabbed a few cloves of fresh garlic, smashed them out and minced them pretty finely. And at the end just measured out 2 cups of fresh spinach. I don't know what this is doing in a cheeseburger recipe. I guess I won't question it, I'll just go with it. And now let's knock the enormous cheeseburger patties out of the way. I started with my first 2-pound brick of about 80% lean, 20% fat ground beef. I threw it down on my cast iron. I tried to flatten it out nice and evenly with a spatula or a wooden spoon. And then I threw it onto my burner over high heat. You want a nice brown sear on the bottom of this, much like you would want on any normal hamburger. I did notice that my cast iron was kind of heating up very unevenly, so I tried to rotate it on the burner a little bit. Is that helping? Probably not. As you can see, I was very generous with the salt and pepper on both sides of my patty. And once I had this one done, I removed it from the pan. I turned off the heat and allowed the burner to cool down for a little bit before plopping in another 2 pounds of ground beef. This one wasn't as forgiving because there was a little bit of grease in the bottom. It kind of was pulling up a little bit. It was falling apart a little bit while I was trying to cook it and then flip it. I should be able to piece it back together when I layer everything up in the puff pastry, so I'm not too worried about it. I just made sure it was cooked through. And now we are going to work on our vegetables. In that very same pan, I first threw down my onion. They seem to have a lot more than I do. Their onion must have been bigger, their pan might be a little smaller, who knows. But I gave this about 15 minutes, I let the onions caramelize nicely. I added in my garlic in the middle and let that brown up and become nice and aromatic. It took 150 episodes and over 2 years, but I'm finally starting to sound like I know what I'm doing a little bit in the kitchen. And finally, I tossed in my 2 cups of spinach. Again, this was a bit of a surprise in this recipe, but I like spinach, so I allowed it to cook down. With everything else, I removed it from the heat and we can now throw everything together. I threw down my first layer of puff pastry onto my cookie sheets. And this is the part where I complain about my equipment a little bit. It doesn't happen often. Today's one of those days. If you have a Canon camera, you might know that when the battery dies, it doesn't give much of a warning, and when it does die, you lose the video you were recording. So 10 minutes worth of me layering on everything, like in Tasty's video, is gone forever. I tried to deconstruct what I had already done and crimped together. You can see the layers in there. It's basically just the first beef patty, cheese, my vegetables, some more cheese, and some more beef. It's not that crazy. I was definitely not about to redo this. You guys get the point. I tried to crimp it back up nicely around all the edges. As you can see, I gave it a little bit of an egg wash and some sesame seeds on top. And then this goes into a 400-degree oven for 30 minutes until all of that puff pastry is nice and browned. And guys, I'd say this looks almost exactly like Tasty's. Puff pastry is very hard to mess up, so that's looking good. I tried to cut into this and my slice is looking delicious. Definitely a lot of meat in there. We'll see if that was the right ratio, but let's just give this a try. This just smells so good, guys. My whole house smells like a smash burger or Wendy's or something. Look at all that cheese in there. Side note, I went to the doctor the other day because I legitimately am like having some issues and he thinks I might be becoming lactose intolerant. And this is the first thing I eat afterwards. Oh. Ow, my hip is like broken. I haven't done that in a while and my hip really hurts now. Guys, this is incredible. The burger is like super juicy and delicious. Anything wrapped in puff pastry tends to come out really good as well. It's a nice crisp on the outside. I still don't really understand the purpose behind the spinach, but it's good. It's pretty much just like a cheeseburger meatloaf. I would say it could use less meat and more of everything else, which again is probably my fault, but the flavor's amazing. Wow, 10 out of 10. Will most definitely recommend you guys give this one a try. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's BuzzFeed test. If you did, leave me a like. As always, you guys always kill it with that. I'm gonna try really, really hard to have another video for you either Sunday or Monday, so look out for that. I'll give you a little sneak peek at the very end after my outro. Other than that though, I hope you have an awesome weekend and I'll see you right back here next time. Peace! I don't know guys, this might be the one. I literally feel like I can jump rope with this.